Connie Willis, the podcast. Taking you into new ways of thinking, even providing answers to questions you've often pondered. Connie Willis, the podcast. This is a Connie Willis exclusive. What you're about to hear has never been heard anywhere else. This is Connie Willis, the podcast.
Hello, Connie Willis here with Connie Willis of the podcast. We are talking with Rob Treat Phase 2 series. You guys love the first phase, so we said let's do Phase 2. We are getting all sorts of information and answering your questions. I might even name some of your names with the questions along the way. Blue Rockers, I know when we did the live video stream, as we do on Blue Rock Talk, we had Robert come in 2 nights in a row, 2-hour live stream. So you guys as paid members got to see Blue Rockers, got to see him, and then he even took off the old sunglasses and gave a lot of information that he hadn't given yet. And that's where you definitely want to go there. You can still go there and see it, those of you that have not, but you got to become either a Blue Rocker or you can actually just pay for those 2 sessions, 2 live streams, and see him and listen to what he's got. But we got a lot of those questions that didn't get answered that we'll be answering for you. And don't forget that you can start talking to him at robtreat.com, the famous blog coming up too. And let's see if we can't go ahead and get the information he wants to get out, as well as more of the questions from you guys and me, myself. From the other side of the microphone and the other side of the world, the man with different DNA and the 3 girls around him. It's Mr. Rob Treat. And I just turned the microphone up so everybody missed that noise that... which one is that? Was that the husky?
Oh, can you hear me?
There it is. Yes, yeah. Hey, don't be turning down the buttons over on your side. Let me do the controlling of that.
Sorry, yeah, that was Harley.
It's like, oh no, they took you. They took you.
Can you say hi, Harley? Yeah, they want to wrestle right under the desk. Kids.
Oh man, you can tell their size from all that. So one of the questions that came up just recently when you were just talking, if you can give us something with that, you said the Akashic Records are not what people are. I don't know that you kind of said they don't exist, but then you said, well, they're not what people think.
Yeah.
And is this by your guy telling you, the lady with the blonde hair and blue dress, or is this E.T. talking to you? Or did you find this out with Elite?
No, I found this out through, I call her my guide because I don't know what else to call her.
Okay. No, that's good.
I can, go to her and ask things, and sometimes I get an answer, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get an answer, but I'm not allowed to remember it. And I think that's a lot of things. One thing that a lot of abductees suffer from is they know things when they're there, and then when they're returned, they can't remember it. It's like they know it, but they have no recall. So one of the things that happened to me a lot when I was a kid was I knew things that I shouldn't know, and I was always being accused of things. Like my teachers always accused me of cheating on my homework. Even though I would swear I'm not cheating. Like my dad's dumber than a hammer. It's like, who's helping me with my homework? I don't certainly not my parents, right? It's just I would possess information, and it was very upsetting to always, be given a bad grade on your homework when your homework's perfect. All your answers are right. I should have gotten 100 on that, not an F, because you thought I was cheating. So one night I asked her, it's like, why do I know things and why does nobody believe me? And she said, all information is available to all beings. Right? It's through your DNA, through your genetics, and how you take care of it, lets you access information even though it's not taught. Just like that we're, even when we're children, nobody has to tell us right and wrong. We know what it is by the way it feels, right? When you do something bad as a kid, you know it's something bad, even though an adult never told you it was bad. You just know it's bad. And the same thing with good. You know, it's in our genes, literally, that knowledge. And you can access it, but it's not like some of the descriptions I've heard of. It's like, this room full of golden tablets, and no, it's not a place. It's all knowledge ever gathered by any living thing anywhere in the universe is available to every other living thing if you're just in tune with it.
Would you say within?
It's within us. It's like literally built into our operating system, which is our DNA is our operating system.
So
And
our subconscious is it's all within. So you're saying the Akashic Records is not out there; it's within all our
it's,
knowledge, which has been taught for decades, centuries.
yeah, it is within. And one thing one explanation that I really resonate with is, you hear some people talking about like this reality is really a simulation. Okay. Because when it comes down to physics, especially in the realm of quantum physics, the math eventually breaks down, and everything points to that this is a simulation, right? Even some of our greatest thinkers, like Dr. Tyson, Elon Musk, Tyson, he puts the odds of us living in a simulation at 50-50. Elon Musk says, that the odds of us living in base reality are billions to one. Like, so even our greatest minds don't believe we're living in base reality. And the reason for that is because the math and the physics completely supports the fact that this is a simulation. I'm not saying that it is. But even when you look at like the double slit test with electrons, they behave as waves until they're observed, right? And so the evidence will show that it's a wave, but as soon as you observe it, the electrons become particles. So why are particles, creating an interference pattern when they should be clumping, right, on the target? So what they did was these scientists, they thought, well, hey, let's turn off the detector sneakily so that the electrons don't see us doing it. Kind of funny, right?
No, it's
Um,
true though. You're right.
so what they did was they placed the sensor after the slit but before the target, and then they would turn the sensor on after the electrons passed through the slits but before they hit the target, right? So the information would read as if it's a wave, but as soon as that sensor would turn on to observe it, they would turn into particles. But when they struck the target, they'd create an interference pattern indicating a wave. So this is what was so confusing to them. And what it appears to be is that as soon as the electrons were observed, they traveled back in time, changed their state, right? So all these things, which are now considered a standard in physics, right? This knowledge indicates that nothing works the way we think it is. Up is really down. Like if you look at the planets, they all spin counterclockwise. If you're looking from North Pole to South Pole. But if you reverse it and put the North Pole on the bottom and look at it from that point, they're rotating clockwise. So everything is um, everything is contrary. We have just the way we observe our universe makes everything contradictory. So what it points to is that everything's a simulation, but it's not really a simulation. And what my guide had told me a long time ago is that there is no time, there is no here, there is no there is no now, there is no tomorrow. Everything is happening all at once. There's not multi-realities. There's all realities happening all at once, all simultaneously. Everything is all one. So because everything is all one, and tomorrow is now, and yesterday is now, and now is yesterday, 10 years from now is also now, okay? So that potentially everything that you will know 10 years from now is accessible to you now. Right? Everything is now. So the Akashic Records aren't some data bank of knowledge. It's all the knowledge that you and everybody you'll ever come in contact with, like, what you'll know 10 years from now, you know now. you can absorb knowledge from your future self by the decision to absorb that knowledge from your future self, that your future self is eventually going to acquire that knowledge that you want to absorb today. And it goes back to the way you maintain and take care of your own DNA, because your DNA is our operating system. Take care of it. You want a dirty hard drive, you're going to get dirty information. But if you decide, totally commit today that you're going to learn how to fix your own brakes, right? When the day comes when you actually have to fix your own brakes, you're going to figure it out very, very quickly, where it's going to seem like you're some sort of progeny, right? But you've already made the decision. I want to know these things. And at some point in the
Yeah.
future, you're going to learn it. But the you today can access, a high degree of that information before you actually learn it, because you're eventually going to learn it, right? So you can, but it's all your commitment. You're not going to have access to information outside of your commitment to learning. If you have no commitment to learn, no commitment to ever educate yourself or better yourself, you're never going to have access to anything in the so-called Akashic Records.
It also brings this up, this old thing up that we've all heard. If a tree falls in the forest, did it, what is it? I don't even remember it now.
If a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, did it make a sound?
Did it make a sound, right? Because there's no focus on it. There's nobody there. Did it actually make a sound? We don't know because, like you were saying,
Of course it made a sound. The world doesn't revolve around you.
Well, oh man, see, now I was heading to another joke and I was trying to take you there, but you had to throw yours in. I know. So my joke was, if a mime walks into the woods and a tree falls on it and kills it, does anybody care?
No.
Bring it on, Connie. It's Connie Willis, the podcast.
We're back with Rob Treat.
They should lock every mime up in his imaginary glass box and throw away the notional key.
Oh, I love it. I am with you 1,000%. There was a show. I think the movie. I think it was Kramer versus Kramer, or maybe it was Tootsie, or it was. I believe it was totally Dustin Hoffman in it. And at the very end of it, I remember the song playing. He's walking like in the New York. What's the park? Central Park. And he comes across. It's just a visual from afar. Nobody's talking, nothing. Well, then this mime is out there, and he walks up to the mime, and the mime's acting like he's going to fall off this rope or something. And Dustin just watches it and then goes up and just pushes him off. It was just great. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh, mimes. I don't know. What are you going to do? But
if it wouldn't been for mimes, Michael Jackson wouldn't have had the moonwalk.
The moonwalk was incredible.
That's a mime move.
I guess it is, isn't it?
I remember when I first moved to America and everybody was like, oh, Michael Jackson and the moonwalk. I was like, I saw mimes in Paris doing that. Walking against the wind? You ever seen the mimes do the walking against the wind or pulling on the rope, imaginary rope? That's the moonwalk.
Huh.
Yeah, I think my people have no rhythm. I can't dance.
There you go. Hey, speak for yourself. Yeah, maybe it's just you. Okay, so the Akashic Record we did. You're going to put a picture up there, your blog. The picture of the DNA. If you can do that, that'd be great. But I want to also throw in something else. If you can put a picture up and explain that a little bit and maybe get some answers. And that's what you just showed me a picture of recently. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah. So I've been carrying this thing around with me for a long, long time, like my whole life, pretty much. After one of my abductions, and I always like to reiterate, I don't consider them abductions. But if I said, trip, people wouldn't understand. On the ground, I found this chunk of metal. And Connie's seen it. It's very, very strange looking. And I think it came off the bottom or came off part of the ship. It's where it was the same place I always would meet them, where I would let them take me or want to be taken. And that was in a pine forest in Scotland. And this pine forest was in the middle of what was called the Penny Farm, just outside of Ellen, Scotland.
That poor farm. There's going to be people trying to get on it.
Yeah, good luck. It's just remote.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, the foothills, the Highland Mountains,
Our people don't care about that. They want to go and know.
Um, and in this, you walk through the fields, you go through the main cow pasture, then through the turnip field, then past the potato field, and then there was this woods, really thick, pine woods. And anybody who's ever been walking in these, European pine forests, it's like just a thick bed of pine needles. Like you don't see the ground; it's just a carpet of pine needles. And this was laying on top of the pine needles. So, I don't think it's a meteorite. I mean, it could be. Somebody could have dropped it. But whatever it is, it's a pretty hefty chunk of metal. It's been completely liquid at some point. And I think it came off the bottom or came off of their ship. So if anybody would like to take a look at it or analyze it or whatever, then I'm open to that because I've always been curious about it myself.
Yeah, that's interesting that you said you could tell it was liquid at one point and then obviously as hard as it is now because, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you too, the way it looks. And I have heard people say that they've seen stuff drop off of crafts and they would go and retrieve it. There's been plenty of stories about that. So that's interesting, really interesting, especially that you've been carrying it around and everything. Is it magnetic or anything?
I don't know. I made a necklace out of it at one point, and then the wires, eventually aged and broke. And ever since the wires broke on it, I just put it in the lap of my Buddha statue, and that's where it's been for the last 15, 18 years.
What do you think you're going to be doing on your blog? With obviously updates health-wise, right?
Yeah. Mostly I'm going to be talking about not really current affairs, but some current affairs. Things about how this world, really operates, and it's not what we think is our day-to-day reality is just a reality that's designed for us by, our various overlords. And having been on the inside for so many years, I'm just going to do a series of posts on, kind of pulling back the veil on certain things.
Informant. What you just heard has never been heard anywhere else. This is Connie Willis, the podcast. Informant. Learn more about Connie, her guests, and be sure to join her private membership shows, Blue Rock Talk and Connie After Dark, at ConnieWillis.com. Whistleblower.